So now I want to talk about something that I'm getting ready. It's actually already begun this week, but I want to document it on YouTube, and the more sensitive aspects of it are going to be documented on Patreon, which I've already put up an introductory video there. This is going to be an introductory explanatory video here. And that is, I'm going to do a mass blast my way over the winter. It's going to go further and longer than the winter, but I'm going to show you how I would do it. And you're going to see the results very quickly, and I'm going to predict a radical difference between now and the end of January. That's not very long. We're going to keep going. We're settling in to run this between 4 and 6 months. All depends on all these health markers that we're going to stay on top of, and you're going to see that, you know, all the checks, all the insurances, in as much as you can, you know, which I guarantee you, whatever you think other people are doing, this is going to be a whole lot more, you know, from a precautionary standpoint. But we are going to run some gear. Now I am not the chief subject of this video. I got a good brother of mine. He's already 6 foot, 260 pounds, butterball naked, is his claim. I believe every bit of it. I mean, in clothes, he steps on a scale, he's bigger than that. The first thing in the morning, empty stomach, butterball naked in privacy of his own home. He says he's just about an even 260, dead on the money. You know, maybe give or take a pound or two. Mostly give a pound. He's a solid 260. At 6 foot. So he's already coming from a good place. He's a naturally husky guy, not a fat guy. Real hard, you know, dense. He has very dense muscle fiber, you know, which you'll see. I already put a picture up over on Facebook of the two of us doing chest the other night before last. And he's 260 in that picture, standing next to me, so 6 foot 260. Now he is not a young guy, although I think he's young enough. He's 54 years old. So you may be thinking, again, all the haters and shit are going to right away, knee-jerk response is going to be, that's completely irresponsible, it's outrageous, over the top. This guy's going to wreck his health. This guy's going to wreck his health. Well, here's the thing. But he's always wanted to see how huge he could get. He just has always wanted. It's just a bug in his ass, you know. He's always wanted to find out. He is on 300 milligrams, and this is the only gear I'm going to talk about in relation to this. I'm just going to give you this introductory thing, all the details on what is being used, how much, every other thing. It's not going to be here. It's going to be on Patreon. You can see plenty here. I'm not going to put that shit here because if I put it here, I believe there'll be two camps or trains of thought in general, largely, for the most part. You'll have people that are going to say, oh my God, that's a lot of gear. That's freaking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. At his age, a lot of ageist people, but his health markers are fucking outstanding. He just has a constitution of a fucking horse, you know? And we're watching and tracking everything as we go, and at any moment, as he's agreed, if anything goes off the rails, we're going to pull the plug and just say, well, waited too long, it's not for you now. Can't do that now. I can't do that now. I wouldn't dare do it. I could get enormous, but I wouldn't dare do it. No way. I'm too old, my body doesn't respond as it used to. It'll still get huge, but my health markers will get too whacked out. You know, in my time, when I was enormous, if you go back when YouTube first came on YouTube, 280 pounds. Hard. I think I got I don't know, I think back then one of my most popular videos initially was called Eat to Grow. Eat to Grow. And I'm on there with no shirt on, and I'm freaking enormous. Enormous, huge, full muscle bellies, big. I'm 280. You know, that's 7 years ago, 8 years ago. So I've never been on YouTube when I was any younger than 50, 51 years old, 52 years old. So him being 54, at 54 I was still 270s, real hard, real strong, and real healthy. Now I'm 61. Not as big, not as hard or conditioned as that, but on a lot less shit, and real healthy. And real healthy is the whole thing that decides what you can do and what you can't do, to me, for me. And I didn't just take on that mindset yesterday, last year, last 2 years. That was my plan from the get. I always looked at the future and knew if I was lucky I'm going to grow old, and I don't want to be, old age is already going to pull you down, right? Probably your most infirm point, unless you've had some kind of medical crisis in between. So I don't want to help that. I don't want to assist age and make it more difficult at probably my most deteriorated time in my life. So I always knew that. And that's why I'm still here and I'm real healthy. As far as what we're going to do with him, they're going to say, oh, that's crazy amount. You're going to fuck his health up, blah, blah, blah. Then you're going to have people that are going to say, when you see how much muscle this dude gains, you know, when you see what he looks like now, you see what he looks like by the end of January, you're going to say, not everybody, but enough. You're going to say, no way, he's not on that much, he must be on a lot more. Well, what I got to say, in my opinion, and the reality, my knowledge, and experience says, he's going to be using plenty. That's plenty. Now, to a lot of these young dudes today, they would double that. And that would be completely unnecessary and crazy. You know, we already have a limit. We're going to do X, and if X doesn't yield the results, or if X causes any of the markers, you know, to go sideways a little, we're done. Pull the plug. So, this is going to be my version of a mass blast that's not reckless, that is not nonsensical, nonsensible. It's not even a word. You know, it doesn't make any sense. Ones I've seen. Other people that I've seen do this, like people that call themselves by various credentials and titles that they don't have. And that's an indicator. I mean, why would you, where's that even come from? Seems misleading. Even though, yeah, they admit, doesn't mean anything, it's just like a nickname thing. Well, it's their own, they gave themselves that nickname for a reason. But a lot of the things, like they do these mass blasts, and it just looks like they're trying to, you know, trying to climb in a box and close the lid on somebody. And the results that they get, here's the main thing. The results that they get, as far as I'm concerned, are ridiculously substandard. And in a lot of cases, it's because they're taking too much shit. Taking so much shit, they're creating a toxic environment. The body can't do what it needs to do. And that's why they're not gaining. You can literally take too much. and that can happen. Where you will grow better on less. You know, nobody wants to believe it. I don't care if you believe it. I'm just telling you. So, I'm gonna cover a lot of it here. You'll see his training on here. You'll see his progress on here. You'll see weigh-ins on here. You'll see my weigh-ins too. But again, I'm not doing anything remotely risky. So I'm just doing my normal thing. But I am going to try. It's good to have somebody like that to train with, you know, to help raise the bar a little bit and see what kind of improvements I can make without actually, you know, taking more up in the dose. So I'm not going to do that. So he should be, I don't know, depending on how he responds, what we can get out of it. I think by the end of January, we begin now, then by the end of January, if nothing goes sideways and we don't have to pull the plug, he should be looking pretty freaky. As far as size. You know, if all the things go well, we're in for 4 to 6 months. 4 to 6 months, and we'll be up and down in the doses throughout that time period. But first we'll pack on the mass. You know, then we're going to slow it down, then we're going to pack on more, then we're going to slow it down. Every time we slow it down, we're going to fine tune a little bit. So that's it, that's what's going on. It's going to be here. You can condemn it. Or if you're an old guy and you've ever thought about this, it might be of interest to you. I don't recommend it. But he's going to do it anyway. He's going to do it anyway. So if I can kind of help him out a little bit as far as keeping him on track with all the checks and tests that need to be done sporadically through this thing to make sure we're on course and that he's safe, he may find he can't do it. You know? It's not like going to do it or bust. That ain't the attitude at this age. And I think at 54, it's now or never. And the only reason it's even a possibility now is because his health is so good. His markers are so outstanding. That's all genetics. That's all genetics in his case. I mean, he is a big, strong motherfucker, so we'll see what happens. We're going to see. We're going to see. You know. That's it. Just wanted to introduce that. Thoughts, questions, comments, whatever have you. Nothing else that'll be interesting. And like I said, all the other aspects of it, actual amounts and, you know, compounds and the materials used, I'll get into depth on Patreon. I don't do it here because Patreon is more of an exclusive group. If I do it here, sure enough, kids or people with a kid mentality will see it and they're going to shit themselves when they see the response. If you do it the right way, what it's going to look like, if there's a right way. When they see the results, they're going to try it. Then they're going to take notice. But they're going to say, oh, well, I know a buddy of mine, Johnny Bullshit, or Joey, you know, Joey Youngin over here, or, you know, Tommy fucking Biceps over there. They're on twice as much and nowhere near that size and don't make those gains, so they're lying about the dose. So we're going to do everything else, but we're going to turn it all up because they're lying. So rather than, I don't want to feed into that. So fuck that. It's going to be over on Patreon. For hopefully a more mature and sensible audience. And again, not recommending anybody out there do this. If you're already doing it or you're going to do it anyway, compare your results to these results, which I'm already predicting. I already know what's going to happen. You know, so long as no markers start to fuck up. or else we pull the plug. So, you know, if you're already doing it or you're thinking about doing it, compare your results and your progress and what you're doing. And yeah, there's gear involved. But Jesus, he's already starting out 266 foot. You're going to need a little gear. All right, that's it. I'm out. We got to keep on going. Keep on getting it with this cardio. It's starting to snow. I'll talk to you all later. Have an awesome day.